My affiliation with City of Promise was sort of a convener. It was something I'd been hearing in the community, people talking about the idea, and because of my position first as a candidate and later as a city councilor, was able to sort of bring all these people into the room together and talk about how we could make it happen, and it's happened, so I'm very excited. I've been associated with City of Promise for about 6 years, since it was first a gleam in several people's eyes. And really the relevance of City of Promise is that it's a model that we've seen works. In this community, we've had a lot of nonprofits, we've had a lot of programs, a lot of initiatives. And this one, instead of looking at a program or an initiative, looks at the child and says, what does this child need to make it? And then we make sure to wrap around that child everything they need, everything their family needs, to make sure that they can fulfill their own promise. And so this is something that I really see as new, as different, and really as a way for the city and for our whole community to look at the issues of generational poverty and make sure that a child in this city, no matter what block they're born on, no matter how much money their parents make, has a chance to make it.
What attracted me to the work is I've been in this work of human service and education for some time now, and most recently I worked in Washington, D.C. doing much the same work in getting kids on the pathway to college and or career, and relocated back to Charlottesville, Virginia to head up this work here. City of Promise is important to me because, first of all, I'm a native of Charlottesville. Truth be told, I probably would have stayed in DC if this wasn't something that was really close to my heart, and it being home. I felt really devoted to being able to make a difference in my hometown. So that is one of the reasons why it's important to me. And we work in 3 neighborhoods in Charlottesville: the West Haven, 10th and Page, and the Star Hill neighborhoods in Charlottesville, Virginia. And we work with kids and their families, and we're building a cradle to college and career pathway for those who are 0 to 22 years old. And we say 0 to 22, we mean we're working with parents even before the kids are born.
I look at City of Promise like an adult. And the children of City of Promise are like little children at a parade. And when a little child's at the parade, they can't see, they want to see what's going on in the parade. The parade is the game of life and all the things that come along with that. City of Promise to me is like that adult that puts that child on their shoulders and exposes them to the parade. We're building a yellow brick road, so to speak, leading to the Emerald City.
I was able to connect one of our up-and-coming faculty members in the chemical engineering department here at UVA with the City of Promise, because that faculty member is looking to get a very big grant from the NSF, the National Science Foundation, and in order to do so, he has to have a community outreach component to that grant. He came to me asking, do you know anybody with whom I could partner? And right away I thought of the City of Promise. Right away I got in touch with Sarad. Right away he got back to me, and he and that faculty member are partnering to get some of our youth into his lab working on tissue engineering. These guys are working on Parkinson's disease and cancer. I mean, they are doing tremendously important work, and we're going to get our youth into these labs through these partnerships. If I hadn't been able to know Sarad, if that structure had not been there when that faculty member asked me, it's possible we wouldn't have been able to meet his need. He might not have been able to get this grant, because without that relationship, without knowing exactly who I can count on in the community, oftentimes those things don't happen.
How it makes a difference in the community in a series of ways. I think that it not only helps the young people academically, but we also provide connections to resources to other service providers during the out of school time, because we all know that kids spend more time out of school than they do in school. So we're providing those types of connections. And also we pay a lot of attention to health and wellness in the community, and as a foundational level, when kids are healthy, when their families are healthy, and then it's a vibrant and healthy community, kids can focus on their academics and they can do better. Our young people work with one of our neighbors to create the raised beds in the garden. So our neighbor, his name is Mr. Ali, he taught the young people how to do the carpentry work. He taught them how to use the drills, and they worked on building the gardens. In addition to Mr. Ali, we had some folks from Bread and Roses at Trinity to come by to really help us with our garden and help us to get the plants growing and get the kids involved in the process of creating this garden. And the garden fits into our work really around the areas of youth development, but also health and wellness, because we want our young people to really get an idea of where food comes from and how they can really begin to make healthy choices that will last a lifetime.
We've seen in the kids in the neighborhood just this real lightening, this hope. They expect that they'll do well. They talk about where they want to go to college. They talk about why they're working hard in school, and they can see the outcomes of their hard work. So it's very exciting just when in conversations with children in the neighborhood to see that transformation. So I think that this is something that everyone in our community should support, the institutions, the nonprofits, and also just individuals and organizations. Financial support is, of course, really important. We need to be able to pay staff. We need to be able to provide programming for children in the neighborhood. But we also need to provide sort of moral support. We need to, all of us, look at all the children in our community and see them as potential successful adults.
There have been a tremendous number of accomplishments just in the 4 years of our partnership. I will say that for a specific program that we run called the Arts Mentors Program, which pairs UVA students with youth in the community, we have been able to develop long-term relationships between our college students and some of those youth, which the benefits to the college students have been extraordinary. They have deepened their understanding of Charlottesville. They have deepened their understanding of some of the issues that go into questions of race, questions of class, questions of access and opportunity, questions of coming to college, because they have been able to get to know children over a series of years, not just for a semester, not just a one-time experience.
Mr. Nate, as we call him, he called me, and he was an avid chess player. But not only that, he had an organization called Playing Aces Chess. And it is a program where he sends out volunteers throughout the city to teach kids how to play chess. I myself, I play chess, so I was very interested in this and really wanted to get City of Promise kids involved in chess in a real way. We want our young people to be thinkers, and we want them to think long range. We're asking them to think about what they're going to do beyond what they're doing now in school. We're asking them to think about their future and their career. And chess helps them to develop that long-term thinking, that long-range thinking. And we're all about helping these kids to do that. And what we found anecdotally is that those young people who have gotten involved in chess end up doing better in school. They end up having better relationships with their peers, and they just tend to transition into another level of their development and awareness as young people.
City of Promise has made a great impact of good in the children's lives and the parents' lives. City of Promise don't just work with the kids, they work with the parents also. And City of Promise have also sent parents in the neighborhood have received their GED. They've taken computer classes. Some has went on and got a degree in college. Just like we have many of kids that have graduated high school. The attendance rate of children going to school has risen. It's good. It's great. Children now, they are like, what are you going to do after school? I'm going to college. where that wasn't in the vocabulary. That wasn't a conversation in the community at one point in time. But now, kids, I'm going to college. So that has made a great difference in the children's lives.
People who see our work as important, we've been able to send kids even to Africa. We sent 2 of our young people and 1 of our staff to Winneba, Ghana with the sister city delegation of Charlottesville, and they went over not only as an educational trip, but they went over to work with the people of Winneba to help them to develop a library in their community. So that's, those are some of the things that people who support our organization contribute to. I myself was able to go outside of the country before, and when I went outside of the country, it really reshaped my idea of what the world is and helped me to think differently and to make sure that I was thinking globally. And I understood that the world was bigger than my neighborhood. It was bigger than Charlottesville. And in fact, the world was bigger than even the United States. So we want our kids to have that type of global perspective and take it with them wherever they are, in the classroom, in the workplace, and in the community.
I see the change that has happened already. I see the potential change that can happen. I'm a person that comes from a business background. I'm a businessman. And when you think about business, when you look at investment, you recognize and understand the importance, the critical importance of investment. When you invest, it begets growth. It begets efficiencies. It begets consistency. The City of Promise has been taking those first steps towards those things. But we need more dollars to continue. We need more time, more effort and investment. So dollars as well as time that will make a tremendous change in the lives of the youth and the families in this area.
So we are very fortunate to have a person working with the initiative who is an academic dean at the University of Virginia, and Dr. Beverly Adams. She's been serving as a volunteer with the City of Promise since our inception. And one of the things that she has devoted herself to doing is coaching our young people who are going off to college and developing a relationship with them such that they can see her as a resource as they go off to higher education. Sometimes it can be very daunting to go out into a world that their families may not have experience with, and what Beverly has been able to do is really give these young people the support they need so that they can be successful when they're away at these institutions. And we've been very fortunate to have her on board to be able to work with these young people.
In terms of getting others involved in supporting this organization, there are so many opportunities to engage and address issues that are long-standing in our community. There are so many institutionalized, systemic issues that have come along to trip up the youth of our city. We have so many issues in Charlottesville that we need to work on, particularly around race, particularly around class. And because we have a structure at the City of Promise with whom we can work and really start to engage in those questions and start to come up with solutions that are community-based, that is the promise that this organization holds in ways that I've never seen. And I grew up in Charlottesville, so it is a new day.
There's a series of ways that people could support the work of the City of Promise. We have a robust volunteer program where people can come and help us administratively, or they can help us on the program side and work with some of our young people who are on the pathway to success. And many of our supporters who have volunteered, our kids are on the way to changing outcomes that have long time been stagnant academically and otherwise in this community. Other ways to be supportive of City of Promise is that we do receive donations from individuals, philanthropic organizations, foundations who have seen how they can have alignment with our work. Our work is very outcome driven, and we're data driven, and we not only want our work to feel good, but we really want it to be good, and we want to see those outcomes. So lots of individuals and foundations have partnered with us to help us to further the goal of building a cradle to college and career pathway for our young people.